about the walls and
Just like apparently Republicans
uh,
feel like most of the political violence that occurs is due to the
mhm.
radical left lunatics like Nancy Pelosi.
Yes, she's a big culprit. Pretty much all trans people, they all
I,
share a
I-
big chunk of the
yeah.
blame for this. Um, anyone who ever said anything mean about Charlie
Oh,
Kirk
definitely,
or
definitely.
or or JD Vance or Donald Trump, any of these guys, like you're on the naughty list at this point, and rightly so.
Yeah.
You should feel bad. You should feel bad for saying these heinous things about a true American patriot with such a beautiful life. And I love that, like, that's a part of the verbiage that is used to describe her every time her and the children are brought up. And I guarantee you it is because that is how Mein Führer
Hmm.
described her. Like, that is
Hmm.
the first thing when he's describing any woman in the positive, is to always say something about her being attractive. Like,
Right. Yeah.
if at all
Yes.
possible.
Every single
If at all
time.
possible.
Yes.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
what's going on the outside and what's going on the inside is intrinsically linked in his mind.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I guess to in case anybody's not aware, we're talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which happened just after noon on September 10th at a public event at Utah Valley University. One shot, apparently from a rooftop a fairly long range away. I have seen estimates online that it is somewhere between
200
150 and
yards
200
is
yards. Yeah, that
that's
seems
about
to
what I've
be a
heard. Yeah.
yeah, that's a
Which
fairly
honestly,
often quoted number.
yeah, I was following some conversation on Reddit about that very topic.
It's
Um,
dangerous.
but I guess yeah, tell me about it. But I guess a lot of people have been like trying to paint this as this extraordinary marksman level shot. And don't get me wrong, I'm not minimizing what happened in any way, because like plinking a target is one thing.
Hmm.
Actually doing something like that in real life is an entirely different matter. So
Right.
the technical aspect aside, that person had to have the ice water in the veins to do that. But as far as just the technical aspect of making that shot, it's not really that big of a shot. Like, any
Hmm.
competent deer hunter with a good rifle that you could go to Cabela's and buy right now could make the, like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I think that
from that standpoint, it's not remarkable.
yeah, I don't know. I have maybe a slightly different view. I do agree on just if you're looking at it in a vacuum, just the shot. And yeah, of course you had mentioned if it hit a target, it's another for to actually live fire, whether you're hunting or whether you're trying to murder somebody apparently.
Warfare, what have you?
Um
Yeah.
yeah, warfare, whatever the case may be. But I think that there's a couple of things that really stick out to me. It's one, this person. The I will say the most recent, we just had a press conference like literally 30 minutes ago, and they released
Oh,
some new
really?
video. Yeah, released some new video of the suspect basically scaling back down from the building, and with a bag which presumably maybe has the rifle that was supposedly found. I don't know if we have confirmation from anybody that that is indeed the weapon, but I think I did hear that it matches the cartridges that were found. There's not confirmed reports of potential writing scrawled on the cartridges and the rifle, but we don't have
No,
again.
that-
I don't know. I don't know why it's taking so
None of that is
long to
reliable.
release that.
None of that is
Yeah, yeah.
reliable.
That the first
I'll
time I
tell you
heard
why it's
that was
taking so
actually
long,
from
because fucking Pat Patel is the head of the FBI. Like, that's why it's taking so long, because we have incompetence leading at every level of law enforcement, essentially.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anything at the federal level or administered from the Fed, because we have idiotic henchmen at the highest levels.
Right,
Cash
yeah.
Patel is a great
Cash Patel.
example right in this here moment in history of
Sure,
being
yeah, yeah.
really fucking
No,
bad at your job and
well, and
looking really
this
stupid
is
to boot.
literally a person that is being sued right now by the former acting director of the FBI and two other senior officials that were fired. They bring a suit that suggests there was
Yeah,
a political motivation for their firing, and this suit also names Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and the Trump administration. But also, not only do they allege this political motivation of their firing, but they paint a picture of just abject, overwhelming incompetence, and you see it from how
that's what I'm
Patel has acted this
saying.
whole thing. Yeah, the way he's treated this,
Yeah,
tweeting out information about the subject, maybe not the suspect, but the subject, and he used that word twice,
yeah,
which is interesting. But when a
yeah,
person
yeah.
being picked up and released, and like, and generally, honestly, giving an air of zero confidence, which is incredible for that position, to be
Yeah.
the director of the FBI and show up and kind of be like, he's like, I've been watching Suits recently. He's like one of like the first year associates in Suits that's like cowering to all these lawyers and stuff like he's so out of fucking
It's
place. He's
totally it's
so clearly
totally
out
Lionel Hutz talking about how he happened to catch MacLeod at the bar last night, and the sound was off, but he thinks he got the gist of it.
of place.
That's
It's
an old
so
school Simpsons reference for all you youngins out there. Look it up. Lionel Hutz, voiced by the wonderful Phil Hartman. Although
so
I
the
don't
on
wish, man, I don't wish this on anyone.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing like, listen, I would have preferred that Charlie Kirk's particular ideology and his particular actions have been wiped away from through him recognizing the error of his ways and his ideology and coming to a better understanding
Kill
that
it in the court of
empathy
public
is not
opinion. Yeah,
well and that empathy is not, as he literally quotes, empathy is not
yeah,
a an invention. God, I had the quote
not a
here
modern
actually.
invention. It's not. It's something
It's
about it
not
being
a
terribly
made up new
damaging. I don't know.
term. It's not a made up new age term that has a lot of damage, but it is in fact maybe the thing that could have saved
Oh,
his life more than anything else.
yeah, yeah. A little bit of that would have helped him. Man, there's just so much like leopard eating face moment in all of this. What was
Hmm.
that? And like the quote about like you gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet, essentially, as far as
I have that
gun
exact quote
violence.
actually.
Like this, he, yeah. Please, for yep, for
Okay,
doodles.
so all right, so back to the quote. So I have the quote actually, the specific quote we're talking about. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, there's in all of this, there's there's a potential crackdown coming on speech about Charlie Kirk and about
Yeah,
his death and all that.
they're gonna
And
use
I
that as a.
think,
Sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
I was going to say, I think the thing that um, really sticks out in this moment is it's going to be impossible to avoid saying something like making a joke or whatever, because frankly speaking, the irony is incredibly palpable. It's so thick, the irony in this moment.
Have you seen? Pardon me. Have you seen any of the headlines or media posts from The Onion about this thus far?
I've not. I've seen the
Oh
Onion
my gosh!
headline
Like,
subreddit, which is like half made up, not actually the Onion stuff, and then half of it's like the
mm.
hard times and the Onions
Oh well, I hope I
stuff.
didn't get
But
suckered by something that wasn't actually the onion. Either way, yeah, just like how are you like? There's no way to play whack-a-mole with. What are you gonna do? Arrest literally fucking half the country that is
mm,
sharing memes or doing whatever about this moment, whether they're politically inclined or not. It's asinine. But it's
yeah,
also dangerous. Like when they want to start coming after people, like it's
I'm
one of
just
those things
glad
going
that
to get you
that Elon
unmolested.
Musk made. I'm glad Elon Musk made comedy legal again, man. I'm so glad he made comedy legal again.
Mm-hmm. First Amendment. Yeah, I'm glad there are really these First Amendment absolutists that they claim to be.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, I think it's a little bit ironic that I think Charlie, someone actually was using the Second Amendment to defend their God-given rights from you and your fascist fucking encroachment and takeover here. Like, I'm not going to go so far as to praise anything. I'm just saying, as a point of fact, almost certainly from that person's perspective or someone sympathetic, that's exactly what they just did. They see
Yeah.
you as a spearhead of fascism in this country
Mhm.
and use the Second Amendment to do something about it. Like,
Well, and it's not as though like as usual. Well, again, we don't have any information on the suspect. So just to put that back out there, we don't have any information on the suspect. So all of this talk about leftists and the liberals and the Democrats have to own this, and they caused this, and they're at war with us, and they killed him, and all of this fucking bullshit is based off of an assumption, which, if we
yep,
look historically speaking, doesn't exactly match up with what we actually see as far as the
absolutely.
number of the incidents of politically motivated in this country, generally most commonly coming from the right. There's in all of the statistics, there's a
Yes,
heavy
conservative
percentage
white
that
men.
lands in a conservative white man. In all of this, there's a heavy contingent or sorry, emphasis put on Islamic terrorism in this country, but then half of that, even,
That's
which,
yesterday's
like,
boogeyman.
well, yeah, that one's going out of style for sure.
That's
And
so
like
2011. But
man,
yes,
where did
thank you
this
for bringing up that everything that we were doing there was purely speculation and conjecture.
mm,
We know
mhm,
absolutely nothing about the actual motives of this person, their political orientation. And there's just as good of a chance as that this person is genuinely a true believer to that cause and feels betrayed or whatever else. It's not uncommon at all for that to kind of come from within. So, not
mhm.
necessarily in the not necessarily saying like false flag, that kind of thing, but a kind of a scorned believer is a very possible scenario as well.
Well, yeah,
Especially
and
considering
when that
Laura
happened,
Loomer's recent statements.
God, I'd love to get into that. I've got okay, yeah, on Loomer's stuff. Because some I haven't caught up completely on her, but yeah, like, so we've got as as a example of this point, we don't know, but they like to live on speculation immediately. They love the information that comes out in the first opening
Oh yeah,
minutes because because they could say whatever the fuck they want to. And right now, I think honestly, there's some
a
advantage
lie's
rhetorically
halfway
to this
around the
person
world
not being
before the truth gets its shoes on.
right. Yeah, exactly. And right now, the shooter not being identified is valuable because they can paint them as anybody in the world. Anybody in the fucking
Yep.
world. They could say it's George Soros's great grandnephew. You know what I mean? Like they can say
Just
it's
trans
fucking
nephew. Yeah.
trans great grandnephew. And
Yeah.
but whenever we see situations like uh Paul Pelosi getting attacked in his home, the kidnapping plot against Gretchen Whitmer, Melissa Hortman and her husband were killed,
Yes.
and John Hoffman and his wife were wounded. We immediately see the right
Gabby
launch
Giffords.
into immediately we see the right launch into framing this as a deranged leftist, a gay
Yep.
lover. If you're talking about Paul Pelosi, Tim Walz,
Yep.
ninja that was sent to assassinate other Missouri or Minnesota lawmakers. So like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they feed off of this early misinformation and love to paint when it turns out that it was a right wing guy, that's a lone wolf. But if it was a person on the ostensive left, that is indication of a widespread conspiracy in the left wing to kill people on the right.
I think this is all a bit of a residual of Karl Rove and his effect on the body politic, but especially the way the the right operates politically in this country.
Mhm.
And so much of it is about controlling the narrative, getting out front and making the things that you want to be the bad guy or to be a dirty word and framing your opponent. You frame the terminology before your opponent gets a chance to frame it, and the words mean what you say they mean.
Mhm.
And that's really what Rove introduced as much or more than anything else, or really fine crafted, I suppose.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I think
Yeah.
that's one of his political legacies.
Well, when you talk about framing your opponent, and Donald Trump out there suggesting that basically the left has a monopoly on the violent rhetoric by calling people in the Trump administration Nazis. If we look at
Hmm.
just, I've got just a few
Hmm.
quotes here. I say I've got a few. I've probably got like 20 quotes that we don't have to
Hmm.
read through all of them. But from Donald Trump,
Hit me with a
violent
few.
quotes and actions. I mean, literally 5 days ago, he threatened a U.S. city with war. So we could just
Huh?
start there with
That's
one of his most
okay.
recent ones. That's
It
not a
was
big
just a
deal.
threat. He didn't actually do anything. It's just a joke. Come on,
Uh,
guys. Like it was a meme.
Comedy's legal again. So fucking.
When we say,
Uh, uh, Regarding Liz Cheney, she's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her. Okay, let's see how she feels about it when the guns are trained on her face.
who said that? Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
That's Trump about Liz Cheney.
That is a quote from the President of the United States
That is a
about her.
quote from the President of the United States.
I wonder, I don't think he's
Um,
clever enough for this. I might be giving him too much credit, but the fact that he did specifically mention guns pointed at her face, given that her father literally fucking shot a man in the face, and that dude apologized about it.
that would be it. With his dementia, it wouldn't surprise me if that thought was in the back of his mind and it influenced the words that he chose in that moment. But he wasn't consciously choosing those words for that reason.
It was
It was
some
just
terminal
it's in
lucidity that just slipped through.
yeah. It's the id supplying a little bit. It's it,
Yeah, I can
um
buy that.
let's see. I've got some other ones here. So I like this one at a rally in 2022. You take a writer and or the publisher of the paper and you say, "Who is the leaker?" It's national security, and they say, "We're not going to tell you." They say, "That's okay. You're going to jail." And when this person realizes that he's going to be the bride of another prisoner very shortly, he will say, "I'd very much like to tell you exactly who that leaker is."
Jesus
I
Christ.
Talking about whistleblowers and or people leaking information of unethical behavior or unlawful behavior in the government, promoting them going to jail to be assaulted.
Yeah.
Like, what the
Just the
fuck?
immaturity of it. I I
Mm.
would be disappointed in my middle school son for being that immature and crass and just lacking in creativity or imagination for that matter. Like, Jesus, Harold.
And I'm gonna run through 3 really quick,
Hit me. Hit me.
going backwards in time. So one by one after the other here. Um, in September of 2024, he said, "If you have one really violent day, one rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately." And that is regarding crime in United States cities. In
Yep. Yep.
2023, at a rally in New Hampshire, he said of illegal immigrants, they're poisoning the blood of our country. And last,
Classic.
going back in time to a CPAC summit in 2023, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. So a totally nonviolent, peaceful guy.
Man. Yeah. I gotta say, that last one, Trump, that does not sound like anything that would naturally come out of his mouth. Those were Stephen Miller's words. That was 100%
Yeah.
Stephen Miller speaking right there.
Yeah. I get that feeling as well. I get that feeling with a lot of this stuff that doesn't involve someone else saying something. If he doesn't say
Yeah.
they're saying, like that is always
Yes.
his shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That because you can go off the cuff with that and just ad lib indefinitely. But when it's a very direct thing like that, and when it has that fucking just Joseph Goebbels vibe to it,
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
his hallmark. The
And uh, and just leading to where we're potentially heading with Donald Trump using this basically as the modern American Reichstag fire. Another quote, actually, I think I'm going to end with the quotes from Donald Trump on this one. Actually, I kind of forgot about, but it is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communist
yeah.
fascists. They're dangerous for our country. We have China. We have Russia. We have all these countries. If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult they are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick. They're so evil. I mean, like he's literally this is exactly the
We are
kind of rhetoric that
priming
was
the
floating around
audience.
in the Weimar Republic. Like this is
This
exactly
is
what
what
Hitler
made
was
me
promoting
think,
about.
yes,
Sorry.
100%. And it's what made me it all puts me in mind also of in places like Uganda where the populace was primed, and we've been primed for so long, like the better part of at least the last 2 decades, continually fear-based and anger-based priming this audience to the point where if you can believe absurdities, you can commit atrocities, and we're arguably at that spot now. Like,
Hmm. Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
sorry to get back to the Sudan. The cut down the tall trees was the signal essentially for this to begin. And even though it had never been specifically laid out amongst the population, they were so primed and ready, like all these keywords hit at the right time, and everybody just kind of knew what to do. It was
Hmm.
decentralized, it was chaotic, but everybody that was of
Hmm.
a mind to do it all kind of knew what the signal was, and like just a school of fish turning the same way at the exact same time. It all just
Hmm.
kind of activated organically, and like that's the one that scares me right now because there are absolutely enough people out there that would be happy to have that moment they can run with and like let
Hmm.
some of these fantasies play out.
People fantasize about it all the time. I mean, shit. We talked about it. I think maybe last last time we recorded or the time before, where we have a media ecosystem that glorifies vigilante justice in movies and all this kind of stuff without ever really batting much of an eye, just maybe paying lip service to the idea that this is actually morally extremely troubling to see like the Punisher just mowing down
Yeah,
20 dudes in the street. Like,
yeah.
it's not a thing that we should glorify necessarily. It's entertainment, sure, but as far as mimicking it in real
Well, and
life
the
and using it as
Punisher's
a
not a
guidance for
fucking
your moral
hero.
compass.
The Punisher's an
True.
anti-hero, which that is a concept that they have a very, very difficult time with. Like,
Mhm,
you can
mhm,
morally justify the actions, I suppose, in an end justify the means sort of way, which is something they seem to intrinsically understand. Like, the
mhm,
end justifying the means is a concept that like very heavily flavors conservative thinking and just that type of mindset in general.
mhm.
Um,
No, the idea of the ends justifying the means, it does definitely fuel it fuels a lot of things, and like you're saying, it flavors a lot of the perspective of conservatives, and you see it in their definitions of what justice is, right? These are eye for an eye
yeah,
people. You know what I mean? Like the
yep,
most likely response to this, if the shooter is found out to be, an Obama voter, a Harris voter, a Biden voter, and I don't. I mean, we don't know how old this person is, but if they voted for the
yeah,
left, regardless of what they said, they don't have. They could be ultra liberal, like pro Israel. Not of what we generally see as the far left, if we have any sort of honesty, but they could be like right on the borderline Democrat, and that's going to be a call for basically murdering socialists in retribution.
yeah.
Like, it's so
Retribution.
it
That back to that word.
yes, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and Trump has again, he's vowed to be their retribution.
We've seen plenty of these people out there in the real world that like are making statements on TikTok, whatever, that are just absolutely itching for permission
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
let go with some of this. Like it's the pump is very, very heavily primed, I'm afraid. Like,
It's primed, and it's primed off of, and I mean, I do have to give Jon Stewart a lot of credit for making me aware of this specific perspective of our media a long time ago. He did this years and years and years ago. But
yeah,
mentioning really making light of as being extreme in its portrayal of everything, of catastrophizing everything, does lead to this kind of thing. That's where you get people, that's where you get like people on Twitter saying 8647. That phrase is what spurns this kind of behavior on. Like,
yeah.
8647 apparently means that you want to kill the president, according to these people.
Yes, it's
But
advocating for
it's
murder. Like
right, but
it's
it
and
is
again,
it
it's
is
that's a bad faith argument. That is not
yeah.
them arguing in good faith because they know very well that that's not what anybody means like that, just as well as they know that
Mm,
Obama didn't mean anything about actual violence when he made a metaphor about bringing a knife to a gunfight politically. Like
right.
they tried to
Yeah.
gin that up into some sort of political call to violence,
Mhm.
which was
Mhm.
just absolutely asinine, obviously.
Mhm.
But like it
Mhm.
again, it's just bad faith arguments because in their mind the end justifies the means. They can make bad faith arguments and not look at themselves as the bad guy because the end justifies the means.